Hello everybody, Softy Papa here. It is really cold. I'm standing in front of a farmer's field, and actually this is my wife's uncle's field, and have a look at the good crops they have out there for the winter. It's November, and I thought this would be a great place to show you the most current item in our store. This is a Japanese oh-whan, or an old style bowl. These bowls would be used for miso soup typically, as well as other things, and they include two pieces. There's the actual bowl itself, as well as the decorated lid. Now, here in Japan, you can easily get these items in stores, modern versions, plastic and ceramic, and they might have the same type of a color. But typically the modern versions do not include the very fine lacquer work that we see in these antique items. This is an old item. This is probably roughly 100 years old. It could be from the Meiji period. These bowl sets like this would be given as wedding gifts commonly. So when a couple was married, one of the things that they would take home with them as a new family would be a set of bowls such as this. A great deal of work would go into the manufacture of these, and let me just show you some of the details. Take a look at this. This is actually a wooden bowl, very fine, thin-edged wooden bowl with a very fine lacquer finish. Now, bowls like this, it took quite a bit of skill to actually create a bowl like this with these very fine walls. The reason is that bowls like this with the wood in a climate like Japan, where we have alternating hot and cold seasons and temperatures during the day, the wood is in danger of cracking as the temperature changes. So in order to be able to create a bowl like this that could withstand decades, or even in this case maybe even 100 years or more of weathering without cracking, they had to dry it very carefully. The drying process would involve starting with a block of wood, basically a block that would take this shape, and slowly cutting out the wood in smaller and smaller sections. And this process would take you do a single cut and then let the wood dry for a year, and then make another cut, let the wood dry again for a year. This process can go on for 3 to 5 years to eventually get the bowl to this shape, where it has been slowly formed and then allowed to dry, and such that it will not crack over time. And you can see that this antique bowl with very fine walls is in fact without any large cracks. There is a crack in the lid that I'll show you in just a moment. Let me go ahead and show it to you now, actually. Now, here's the lid section, and you can see that as I had it before, the lid fits quite nicely within the recess of the bowl, just like that. Now, the lid does have a crack here, and you can just see it through the lacquer work there. Can you see it there? It's very fine. It's a very small crack. You can see it on this side as well. There's a little bit of dust on there. Can you just make it out there? Little tiny crack, and the chip in the lacquer. Now, the chip is interesting because it actually gives us a chance to see the different types of lacquer that are used. Fine quality lacquer pieces such as this will include multiple layers of lacquer, and there's a black lacquer coat down below, and several layers of lacquer that would then finished with this red lacquer. And the lacquer process itself can take a very long time, and typically requires a specialist craftsman to complete that work. The bowls such as this are typically decorated with Maki-e gold lacquer artwork, and you can see that this piece does indeed have that beautiful scene, hand-painted delicate patterns here, floral images, beautiful flower there. Isn't that nice all through there? Try to hold it steady. My hands are shaking a bit. It's actually very, very cold this November morning. Very nice piece. You can see there is some damage, as I noted before, just some chips in the lacquer here and there. The bowl is in better condition. There's actually no large cracks. There's no cracks or damage to be seen besides some small chips and marks. You can see there's some more lacquer work here along the edge. This bowl has probably seen past use. It was probably used for special events in the household of a Japanese family, and it's now ready for use as a display item. I don't recommend using these items as for daily use, given their age, and they're rather curious in that their age. They should probably be put on display and not used. I don't know that it would actually be good for use as a common table item. The lacquer may come off, or the wood may crack further. I'm not sure. So I recommend this as a display item, and it's a piece of classic Japanese household style art. There you go, from this little farmer's field, a fine quality Japanese oh-whan soup bowl. And thanks for dropping by to have a look. Take care. I'm heading inside where it's warm. Bye bye.